All right, so welcome back, everybody. And we get to do another preview, this time the Dynasty champion. Stuart, a guy, tier 2 owner. We champion in the LOC Dynasty, though, proving that there's obviously great owners in tier 2. Stuart out of our division, the Solomonic.
Yeah, I mean, Stewart's a good owner. I mean, he won the division year one. He obviously won the league last year. I don't second guess half of the stuff that he does. There's one player he did draft that I kind of second guess, but he's a good owner. I would love to see him. I love to see a couple other guys make it to the LOC. I think they definitely bring competitiveness to at least the LOC 2 because they're always there, they're always chatting, and they're all in Dynasty, always chatting as well.
100%.
Looking at his record, he went 8-5 last year. He's 16-10, so he obviously went 8-5 year one as well. He's the 2020 LOC Dynasty champion. He is the 2019 whatever division we are in champion as well. So he definitely has those accolades to his name.
100%. I believe he has the best career record so far in Dynasty. So Stewart's definitely done well. And when we look at the roster here, I question how he's done so well. Derek Carr and Matt Ryan, these are two guys that I'm never high on, but he's been able to have success with those two guys at quarterback. Obviously, Delvin Cook leading the running room, Stephon Diggs. He's got Jerry Jeudy and another year of development. So I'm sure he's excited about that. Having Higbee and Ertz there, those are two solid starters. And then when I look at the defense, he's added some guys at DB here recently. Jeremy Chin, who's obviously been awesome for Carolina last year, and then Morig for this year. So curious to see how those guys pan out for him long term.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, looking at it, Diggs, he traded Diggs from me, Jeudy. So, I mean, his wide receiver core is pretty good. I hate Matt Ryan just because of last year. Every time I played him, he sucked, and every time he was on my bench, he was great in the LOC. But yeah, I agree. I look at his team, and I'm like, his team's not good, but then they're 8-5 every year. So he must be doing something correct that I'm not.
That's how I look at his team too.
I gave him a B+. You gave him a B-. I think Stevens. He didn't have a first round pick. His second round pick was the very last pick of the second round, and it was the running back from the Patriots, Stevenson. I mean, that's a hell of a pick as your number one pick in the basically 32. So I can't complain there. He took Xridge or Sridge, whatever his name is, for the Seattle 2 rounds later as well. So he's definitely making picks, capitalizing on that. He didn't rush taking a defense. He took the Bills in the 4th round. He didn't rush taking a kicker. He took Lambeau at the very last pick. So he's definitely not rushing anything. And I thought it was a solid draft for somebody who just won the championship.
Yeah, I think, again, great analysis on waiting to pick the kicker in the defense. I also agree. I think getting Stevenson in round 2 was definitely the right pick there. He went with these other rookies, right? Eskridge, Morig, and Gregory Rousseau. The thing is, I'll be honest, I just don't know enough about these guys and how well they're going to be integrated into their team system this year. And that's why I gave the B-, right? Like Eskridge, who is this guy, right? I don't know anything really about him. So it'll be curious. I know he has speed. That's all I know. Russo looked good in the preseason action that I've seen. But again, they just weren't the highly touted draft prospects that we've seen get drafted by other teams.
For sure. I mean, the only thing I had going for me is just because I assumed a lot of wide receivers were going to go early in our draft, and I'm surprised they actually didn't. So, I was looking at Eskridge maybe falling to me at 2-8 or something like that. So like that, Stevenson, obviously. So, I was definitely I looked at more Dynasty players than I looked at LOC players. So definitely for there. You have him going 7-6. I have him going 8-5. I mean, we're pretty close. It's one extra win for me. I have him starting out as 4-1, going 6-4, and ending at 8-5. So he's not too off. You're not too off there, and I definitely have him, beating me. Most people have beaten me as well, and then beating you as well in the first 5 games.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some, and I'll be curious to hear from the league on this too, on how I do scheduling for division opponents. But here in Dynasty, you'll see in the last 4 games of the schedule, he plays Lucas and Bolt up 2 times there in the last 4 games, right? And I find with Dynasty, especially with the divisional matchups and getting the divisional money in the title, going back to back like that with some of the teams, it can be pretty exciting, especially if they're pretty close in the standings. So I think those two games are really going to determine a lot for Stuart and Lucas, probably at that point of the year. I have them going 7-6, kind of win loss almost throughout the whole year.
Yeah, I mean, I have them win, loss, a few wins, 2 losses. It's very much be a back and forth. I actually don't have him sweeping any series with his divisional opponents. So yeah.
Yeah, I think 7-6 is going to be right on the cusp of probably not making it, but we'll see.
For sure. And that's usually our cutoff for the Dynasty 7-6 when I looked at it earlier.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you.